We're joined by defensive coordinator John Butler. Coach, first spring as defensive coordinator, how did things go from your perspective?
You know, I thought they went well. There wasn't a whole lot of transition. Maybe me being standing in front of the group a little more than obviously I did in the past was a little different maybe for the guys. But systematically we kept everything almost exactly the same from a standpoint of terminology, from a standpoint of alignments and calls. All of it was relatively similar. And then also what we did is we consolidated a lot. So therefore, I think the kids, adjusted well. I don't even really think there was an adjustment at all. I think it was fairly seamless. And, really what it was year 2 in this system, which I think allowed for us to play a little faster and execute a little quicker and, improve a little bit. Collectively,
what do you like about the makeup of this defense?
Well, I think it has the foundations of the traditional Penn State defense of, we're big, I think we're strong, we're fast, and we're physical in a lot of areas. Some of our younger players are going to have to step up to continue and embrace that tradition, but I think in all those areas we've maintained and improved, towards the standard of, playing great defense in Penn State, which is basically to be big, strong, fast, and physical. So.
Talk about the defensive line a little bit and the blend of experience coming back in addition to some of the younger guys that you liked in the spring.
Right. Larry's done a great job coaching those guys. Obviously, we have some experience in terms of years with Daquan Jones. We have a little more experience coming back in terms of, actually playing with guys like Deion Barnes, Zettel, Kyle Boblitz. Hope I'm not missing a guy right here. And then we have a good blend of younger guys coming up. I didn't mention Brad Bars, but he had a good spring. He's played a little bit. But then we have some younger guys coming up like Austin Johnson, Evan Schwan, Gaia Dowry that, are providing some depth for us. So I think it's a good unit that will continue to be coached very well by Larry, and it'll be a strength of our defense.
What do you like about the talent at linebacker? Obviously, Glenn Carson's played a ton of football, but then adding Mike Hall and Naeem, who Mike Hall did a lot of things for you last year, but this year's kind of got a set role.
Right. Glenn's a very physical. Glenn's your prototypical Mike linebacker, plays downhill, is tough, is a guy that, is relentless in his play. Mike Hall, while he wasn't a listed starter last year, Mike Hall was on the field a lot during all the critical plays. If you look at our cut-ups, he made a lot of big plays. Really was a 4th starter for us. I'd have to look at the numbers, but I would guess he played in the range of 300 to 400 snaps. Plus, he was a great special teams player. And Mike had a great spring. Mike's a really, really good player for us that hopefully now that he is, like I said, a listed starter, hopefully he continues to improve upon his play. But I think he's a really good player for us. And then, at the other outside linebacker position, it's really going to come down to a battle between Naeem Wortman and Ben Kline. Naeem, Ben has a little bit ahead of Naeem in that he played a year, he played for 1 year in front of Naeem, but then Naeem has caught up fairly quickly because Ben missed the spring, and Naeem, played and got all the reps this spring. And he's a, naturally very instinctive player, has a good feel for pass coverage, has the size and the range we're looking for, and just needs to continue to get seasoned as far as, taking reps, being physical, and continue to uphold the tradition of playing linebacker here at Penn State. But we feel like we have a good, solid core guys, 4 guys there that'll, have to have some versatility.
Beginning with the corners, your guys in the secondary, what did you like about that group, especially the younger guys who stepped up? Trevor Williams coming over from the offensive side, Jordan Lucas, Daquan Davis.
Right. I think we're starting to get the profile of what we're looking for at that position, which is a taller guy, a longer guy, a guy, obviously that can run, that can match up with Big Ten receivers. You look at this league, the large majority of receivers in this league are 6'2", 6'3", or bigger. We don't necessarily have the blazers in this league, but we got the big physical, ball-catching receivers that we've got to be able to body up, and we've got to be able to combat that physicality. So I think that area has helped us with having Jordan there, having Trevor, Daquan's coming along. And no, Adrian still is, Adrian now is listed as a safety, but Adrian will always have corner, will always be coached at corner because, again, as I've made, very clear, our job is to get the best 11 guys on the field. And if at any time during whatever we're doing, Adrian is one of our best at corner, we're going to play him there. But right now, we just feel like, the younger corners have progressed well enough to this point that we feel like our best 11 includes Adrian playing at safety, but he's a versatile guy, and that's really one of the things I like about what we're doing now in the secondary is a lot of the kids can play multiple positions. Jordan Lucas can play nickel. All of our guys playing corner can play the field and the boundaries. Some of those guys are good enough to play safety. So, that's what we're going to have to have. We're going to have guys that can play multiple spots within that secondary, because at the end of the day, we have to have the best 4 or 5 or 6 out there on any given play, depending on what the situation of the game is.
Having those increased numbers, and then you look at safety number guys in Malcolm and Adrian and Obang that have played a lot of football. What does that do with more numbers in the secondary? What are you able to do a little bit differently this year?
Well, what we're able to do is we're able to actually play more than 4 at a time. And, not only situations dictated by down and distance, ask for nickel or dime defenses, but a lot of offenses just across the board, because they're spread offenses, they're throwing it a bunch, they're trying to match up their skill guys against our, linebackers and such. We have to have the ability to make substitutions and match personnel. So what that allows us to do, and hopefully continues to allow us, we have a long way to go. We have to go through training camp. We have to get some game experience, but I think it gives us the flexibility to, like I said, play 5 and 6 DBs at a time to match what the offense is doing, and also still be able to stay true to our system and our philosophy. So, hopefully that's something we can continue to do and we'll continue to recruit towards.